So hey there everyone, in this video we'll be doing a warm-up in preparation for your upcoming programming competition. Sounds good, right? So this problem is entitled Simple Array Sum. So I have won actually multiple programming competition in my university years, and I would like to share to you how do I properly analyze a problem to make sure that we have covered all possible scenarios, and how to make sure that our solution is space and time efficient. So at the end of the video, we will be simulating the code line by line while showing the actual updates of the variables. So make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and let's get started. So for the problem description of the simple array sum, we are given an array of integers. We have to return the sum of its elements. Aside from this, we are given a constraint that the sum of the array can be anywhere from 0 to 1000, and the values of the array can be any value from 0 to 1000 as well. So our input would be, for example, 5, 2, 8, 1, and 3. Our out would be 19. Why? Because 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 8 is 15, 15 plus 1 is 16, and 16 plus 3 is 19. So, let's analyze the problem. Why do we have to? Because the problem is quite straightforward, but if you are going to be in a programming competition, there are a lot of scenarios that you are supposed to handle. So how are we supposed to analyze the problem that we have? So let's see. So here we are given an array of integers as mentioned earlier. So some considerations about that. So all values are integers. So because we are given an array of integers, we are not given an array of an object, which could be anything from string to characters, integers, and so we are quite sure that all of the values are numbers. So we don't need to convert the data type anymore. Next, values can be positive or negative. This is important because if we are going to declare a return value, we can maybe say it's signed or unsigned. But since we can have negative, we should make the return value as unsigned. So making it actually a variable unsigned would make it give it more space in the positive side. So it will actually double the size of the integer, for example, that you can put on it. But now we have to consider both. And then we have to return the sum of its elements. So we have to return an integer or long value. So we are not yet sure how much space do we need. Do we actually need an integer, or do we need a long value? So here is how we would know. It says here the size of the array can be anywhere from 0 to 1000. And also, the values of the array can be any value from 0 to 1000 as well. So with that, an integer, if you actually Google it, it says an integer's max value is 2,147,483,647, while long is a lot more than that. I'm not sure, but a lot of commas is there. Okay, so what is actually the maximum value we can have for this problem? So it's 1000 times 1000, so it would be 1 million. So basically this int should be enough. And because we could have negative values, it should be unsigned. Okay, so we are going to use integer. So how are we going to approach this problem? Let's see the step-by-step approach. Okay, so let's start. Here is the sample problem, and then we have to return the output sum. So how do we keep track of it? We have to declare, of course, a variable named sum, and then we initialize it to 0. We would need a cursor that would go through the entire array and add it to the sum. Okay, so let's start with the first value of the array, which is 5. 5 plus 0 is 5. And then 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 1. 1 plus 15 is 16. 3. 16 plus 3 is 19. So that's the result that we are going to return. Okay, so how are we going to implement this? Let's look at the code implementation. Okay, of course, sometimes we are not sure of what's the maximum value we would need, so maybe we can do a sample program first. So sum is equal to 0, return the value. So since I am not sure, we can have any value from 0 to 1000, so maybe I'll start looping and adding 1000 plus 1000 plus 1000 until I reach 1000. So if we do that, we would get 1 million, because right now it's quite easy to see, because we can just multiply 1000 by 1000. But what if it's 673? That's the maximum size of the array, and then the maximum value you can put in the per index is 234, so it's quite hard to multiply. So of course you can just do this. Anyway, this is not really needed, it's just an advice. So to actually start the code, we are given, of course, a method, so we need to sum it up, and then we would have parameter nums. So this would hold the values 5, 2, 8, 1, and 3. Okay, next we would declare the sum to keep track, as mentioned earlier, and then we have to return that as our output. We would have a for loop. So this for loop would actually go through each value of the array one by one. So it's from 0 until the length of the nums array. And then we would sum it up. So for each loop, we would add the actual value there. There's actually a nicer way, a shortcut to actually implement this one. It would look like this. So what it's going to do is the same. So for each number in the nums, it will put it in num, and then it will loop and add it up to sum. So basically it's the same, but since it's easier to look at the one earlier, we will be using that in our code simulation. So let's simulate this problem. Okay. So let's start with the given parameter, which is nums. So with that, we would have this array. Next, we declare the sum equal to 0. So let's declare that one. And then let's start having the cursor. The cursor is actually equivalent to this for loop because we are going through each item one by one. So here's our cursor. And then add it up to the sum. So 5 plus 0, it would be 5. And then we will start the loop once again until we reach the end of the array. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Then get the next index, 8 plus 7 is equal to 15. And then go to the next one, which is 1. So 15 plus 1 would be 16. And then go to the next one once again, which is 3. So 3 plus 16 is 19. So we return the value of sum. Okay, so what if, because it was not mentioned here in the actual problem statement, what if the given nums is actually null? So that's one thing that I think that we could improve here in our solution. We should add a checking if null is equal to nums, then we return sum. Okay, so that's all for now for this solution. If you have any questions, just make sure to comment down below. And also, feel free to give any programming questions that you want us to solve and discuss, and we will make sure to simulate it, show it to you virtually so you can imagine it better. And make sure to like and subscribe if you learned anything from this video. So good luck to your next programming competition.